Hi, it's Laura Joy. I want to talk about reading. I've got this whole bookshelf. Most of it's notebooks, things I wrote, but a lot of it is books I got for under $1 from the library. So the library has these book sales where they say you can fill a bag, like a grocery bag of books and movies for free. Not for free, sorry. For $1. You can fill the whole bag for $1. Or one time they did $5 for the whole bag, but they brought it down to $1 recently. So that was a blessing. I got a ton of books. I had to move them all, but it's really a blessing to be able to have something to read. When I was living at the facility in the building, I read more than I do now. When I moved, I had enough money left over to buy a PlayStation 5, so I got that. And so every time I go down to read, I'm like, well, I want to play video games instead because it's more fun to me. But reading is important. Keeping up, looking at words, seeing how they're spelled, and sounding them out in my mind, that is very important for me for my education. I wouldn't be able to talk if I didn't read when I was younger. I read the Nancy Drew series 3 times over. I read the Hardy Boys series 3 times over. I read some other books. I read the Ranger's Apprentice series 3 times over. Recently, I was talking with my dad about everything and anything, and he mentioned this book series called The Avatars. No, the Something's Avatar. Oh gosh, I wrote it down. I can't remember, but it's this the Something's Avatar. And that's something I want to get into reading. Um, I've noticed that when I get books from the library, I always panic and I don't read it because I'm like, I won't be able to finish it. Because it takes me a while to read things. It takes me like more than a week. So it takes me more than a week to finish a book because I'm like, I'm wasting my time. I don't want to focus on this right now. I know it's not wasting your time to read, but there's so many things that I want to do. When I was reading when I was younger, I was like, I'm not living life. I'm not going going out and living my life. And that really bugged me. So I stopped reading and I was able to grow up a little bit. Um, Little do I know that growing up can be done when you're reading a book. Um, so my education, I didn't really focus very much on education when I was growing up. I did learn some things about math. I learned some things about history through documentaries mostly, which I know that's not really accurate. You're supposed to read to find out about those things because books are the person actually writing the words that were spoken back then. But um, what else did I do? I Ever since I moved to the facility, they've helped me out writing, with writing more often and journaling because that's something that they encourage us to do here. And I'm really thankful for that because when I first got here, my handwriting was so bad and then it improved over time. Um, Besides that, they've helped me out with my mental state, obviously. That's their job, is to help us out with our mental states. But mostly it's been through trials that I've had to bounce back from, and um, in myself, I've had to understand how I'm going to handle this without completely falling off the map. I've really, education's a really difficult, intricate subject. It's not, it's our minds growing, it's not that easy. We, as a teenager, I don't think teenagers should have to go through school, actually. I think forcing a teenager to go through school is really not right. I think they should take a break through high school, come back in their 20s, and learn in their 20s, because then we're more mature. We understand the reason to go to school, and we don't have all that emotional baggage and everything that happens in our teenage years. We don't have that. I think it should be an option whether or not you want to go to high school or whether or not you want to go to school in your 20s. Because people go to college and they get college debt in their 20s and they don't even understand what they're working on because they've been working on everything the whole time. And you kind of tune out the knowledge you're learning after you've been listening for a long time. Like even this video, you're probably tuning out right now. But if you take a break and come back to it, you're more likely to hear it. You're more likely to understand what's being spoken, what's being taught. The world that you're entering is fresh. So that's my stance on education. You've got to live your life. You've got to go out, take risks, and learn how to deal with issues when you're in your teens. In the Bible, in Israel, boys who turn 12 years old, and maybe the girls, boys who turn 12 years old, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. So those were their Babylonian names. They're actually called something else. But those boys were 12, I think. They were captured by the Babylonians at that age. And that's a huge trial. So I think for the most part, they didn't really learn very much until they got to Babylonia. And then they were educated in Babylonia by their cultural ways, and they didn't really agree with everything because of what they learned when they were not in Babylonia. But still, you've got to have that contrast. Like, I believe in this thing, and this is why. You've got to reason with yourself. Like, why do I believe that? A foolish man believes everything he hears. That's a Bible verse. So that means that maybe everything we're taught is wrong. And you've got to judge for yourself by experience what is true and what is false for you. And everyone's perspective could be different. So that's why we need to respect one another, respect their experience, respect where they came from and their viewpoint, because everyone's experience is different in life, and something that is true to them could be not true to you because you had a different view when you were going through this experience, or you had a different truth spoken to you. So, yes, back to books. Books. Okay, what book am I gonna start on? I think I'm gonna start with the Bible, obviously. I'm gonna try to read a little bit every day. Every day may be asking a lot for me. I'm gonna read a little bit, like a chapter, as often as I can. It doesn't have to be from the beginning of the Bible, because then you don't really get to everything because you get bored. I mean, the Bible isn't boring, but still, it's a lot to take in. So, I gotta show you this old book. Okay, I've got this old book called The Crisis of the Old Order, which is probably about Nazis. And it sounds like it's about Nazis. It's 1919 through 1933. Don't ask me where I got this book. I think it was from the library. But that's an old book that I'd like to go through. I've got a lot of political books. I've got one about Barack Obama, one about the Clinton guy, Bill Clinton, I think. And then I don't think I have any on Donald Trump. I don't. Um, so he was in this TV series called American History, the Story of Us. Donald Trump was, and he was talking in that. There was some other people talking in that one, but that's where I learned that tobacco was what America basically was founded on, was farmers farming tobacco, and they sold it to Britain. So that was in that series. Fun fact. So um in the future, I like to talk about scheduling and timing. It's a lot of math, but it's like fun math because you get to apply it to real life. You get to apply it to your life and build a structure for your life. I get to build a structure for my life, and it's fun. You can use Google accounts to build a calendar, and that's what I've been using. Um, and then you get a notification on your phone. Yeah, I should probably stop talking so that you can get back to your day. Anyway, take care.